Guys, what's up? It is Doug and welcome to another edition of Spooky Villages. I have another new for 2021 Lemax Spooky Town building, and it is a big one in this year's lineup. Here is the Lemax Web of Terror Ferris Wheel. Guys, this is a huge building. I mean, it's a Ferris wheel. If those of you have not seen one of the Lemax, either Spooky Town or the Christmas Ferris wheels, they're built on the same chassis, but they are big. So before we get into this box and actually talk about the Ferris wheel, let's just talk a little bit about the theming on this, so the building in general. The Web of Terror, this needed to happen. You know, as far as the carnival rides go, which carnival rides are, I mean, arguably the most popular building every year. So many people do carnivals. I collect them. And normally Lemax will add at least one carnival piece. This year there's few, but this is the big boy. This is the Ferris wheel. And a Ferris wheel has not existed since the Wheel of Horror, which is one of the great Lemax Spooky Town pieces of all time. Many of you love it out there, but so many love it that since retiring, it goes for a small fortune. I actually have a review of that building on this channel, by the way, the Wheel of Horror. It's one of the first reviews I ever did, actually, for Spooky Villages. And the thing is, though, it's been retired for, I think, like a decade now, the Wheel of Horror. It's become super expensive, and your carnival needs a Ferris wheel. Like, it looks odd, I guess, amusement park or carnival, whatever you want to call it. The Ferris wheel is so important to that skyline. And really for the last few years, I've thought that barring a roller coaster release, which, I think that's everybody's #1 wish. If Lemax could do any kind of building, I think most would wish for a roller coaster. That would be very hard logistically. I don't know how they would do a big roller coaster, but that aside, that's like the #1 requested piece I think that most of us want. But outside of that, I thought that they needed to do another Ferris wheel because it's just so hard to get the other one and so expensive. And I've seen that building go for like $500 somewhat recently. It's crazy. So the Web of Terror was very much needed. And something really cool on this is the theming. I have talked about this before, but I think that spiders are one of the most underrepresented theming in all of Halloween Villages. Everybody generally has an opinion on spiders. You probably either are terrified of them or maybe you love them, but you normally will have an opinion on them. And spiders are so important to Halloween, and there are just not very many buildings out there that are really appropriately done up for spiders or themed in spiders. And what is out there, most of them are, they're retired and expensive. I'm thinking of something like Spider House from Department 56, and that one's not even that really not well themed. I don't think it's not super overtly spider, I guess is what I mean, but this one definitely is. So let's look at it. Guys, here's the Web of Terror. Look at this piece. I love this. So the chassis on this, if you've never seen one of these before, the Lemax Ferris wheels, they have, various Ferris wheels. Of course, there's the Wheel of Horror, which we'll talk about that in a moment here. That's the Lemax Spooky Town one, but they've also had some Christmas ones, and even there was one in their Americana series a couple years ago. So if you've never seen one of these wheels, they're all built on the same chassis, but they are large. I mean, you can see here, this is a big boy. Check out the back of it here. We'll go over some details here real quick because I want to show this thing lit up because it looks amazing lit up. But, so, spider themed. I love this. Big spider here in the middle. You've got spiders on top of these apples. All the cars like apples. And you have these little skeleton guys inside. They look a little bit different, but just to know, they are like skeleton guys. They're not like, they don't look like real people in costumes. It's more like the scary monsters, right? For that theming of it. You can see here the base of the chassis. The base of the piece, I should say. And I love the colors on this. The lighting, which we'll show in a minute here, is pretty crazy, but I love the brightness here. I love how this looks, and I love the purple wheel. Love the purple wheel with the red apples. That looks great. And of course with the spider, black and purple and red, it looks great for spiders. One more note here too. It's actually, I guess, technically a two-piece building. This little ticket booth right here, it comes separately. You can see it's got like a little clown on it, a spider on top of it. The spider legs are, those aren't solid. They're actually kind of soft. But this comes separately, so you can set that ticket booth out front. It didn't break off or anything. It comes as a two-piece thing, so you can put your ticket booth out front. So enough talking about this without the lights. You guys have to see this thing lit up. The lighting on this is spectacular, guys. Look at the cascading lighting effects here with those LEDs. If you go to a real carnival or an amusement park, the Ferris wheel a lot of times does have some of the best lighting. I know, especially it seems like in carnivals, the smaller wheels, because they have to be, they're travel size, right? They fit on like semi-truck chassis or trailers to move around. Those ones normally around here, like when I go to county fairs, are the most extravagantly lit carnival rides that you see at the carnival. Some of the big wheels too that are permanent amusement parks are also extremely well lit, and they have this cascading light effect where the lights kind of dance in and out of the wheel, and it does multiple things. It just looks beautiful. This is an absolute centerpiece of a display. Eyes will just gravitate towards it because the lighting is so crazy on this one. And I don't think it's like overdone either. Again, some of the pieces have strobes or other things or pulsing lights. This one here, it just looks solid and it looks like a real Ferris wheel. Again, it draws your eye to it. And I think that Lemax has done a fantastic job in doing another Ferris wheel here. They really, really needed one. I know that in reading around online, some people are disappointed it's another Ferris wheel, but so many people don't have a Ferris wheel. Or even if they do, I know sometimes the Wheel of Horror, because it's old enough now, some of them kind of malfunctioning or other things like that, but people do want a Ferris wheel in their display, so they still use it. Well, now you've got access to this one, and I love the theming on it. Again, the spiders are such an underdone theme in not just Lemax Spooky Town, but all Halloween villaging. This piece looks great from the back as well. You can see right here, to show what it looks like, the lighting is double-sided on that. So if you have a display that, sometimes those of us have displays like in the middle of a table or something, in a room where it's not just like the backs of the pieces against the wall, this one would look good kind of on a freestanding display as well, because the lights are great on the back as well with that wheel. So it does have a soundtrack, and some of you newer people have asked on the pieces with the soundtracks, they say, can you run it without the soundtrack? Yes. Almost all, not everyone, but almost all Spooky Town pieces you can run without the soundtrack going, and dare I say most of us run them without the sound. It's just for this video, of course, I'm going to show them if they have a soundtrack on them, but yes, this piece you can just run it with the lights and just animation, but no sound, just to clear that up for some of you newbies out there. Yeah, guys, that is it. The hits keep on coming this year in 2021 Spooky Town. Again, I think that they had to do this, a Ferris wheel, to get one out there. And yes, this is going to be collectible whenever it's retired. The carnival pieces always are. Normally the carnival pieces don't have a very long production life cycle. And these wheels, at least going by the Wheel of Horror, how that thing is worth a small fortune now if you've got one. This one will be collectible. Now the question here, which do I prefer more? I think I actually prefer the theming on the Wheel of Horror maybe a little bit more, because the skull on it is pretty striking, even though I do love spiders. But the lighting on this one looks so good that I would give it to this one. Again, that cascading lighting effect, the LEDs, like Lemax is putting all their lighting technology here on display. This one just looks phenomenal lit up. So if I did have to choose, I would choose this one. And again, I do love spiders, but hey, if you got a Wheel of Horror, they're both fantastic. So there's no shame in either. Have both of them. You know what? Have both of them. These they're cool pieces. They look great together in different parts of the carnival. I like it. I like this. It's a really cool piece. A really cool year here. And the hits, as I say, they keep coming on. We have so many buildings to get through this year. I cannot wait to keep going here. And for a hint for next time, we're going to go back to the coast and we're going to shine a little light. Thank you guys for watching. Here it is with the lights and sound.